welcome to the tea table. This is the last of my videos that does not have gameplay. That is on me. I do apologize. But today we're going to take a look at a really cool deck from week 2 of the Gazerbeam Tourney of Dreams West Coast Weekly. I will link all of that in the description. Gazer's Twitch, everything. He's a great guy. Friend of mine, likes to put on these events. Really cool. I wish I could play, but you know, sometimes I gotta let other people win. Just kidding, I would probably just go 2-4. But, with that being said, today we're going to look at a deck today that went 4-1-1, played by PokéDrummer97. Their matches went as followed. They beat Palkia Ice Rider, beat Luna Rock, beat Ice Rider and Teleon, lost to Arceus Lycanroc. They beat Jolteon, and then they drew against Mewtwo VMAX. So, this deck is very interesting. So interesting that one of the cards you actually does nothing in your deck. So, let's jump in and see how this deck works and what makes it really cool. So, if you notice, there's only 11 Pokemon. There's only 4 basic. You cannot start with any other Pokemon. I cannot start with Mewtwo's leg. I can't be like, alright, what are we doing? Mewtwo's leg, go. So, you do have to open up Arceus V, which for 2 colorless, aka a double turbo, search deck for up to 3 basic energy, attach them to your V any way you like. And then we got Arceus V-Star, Trinity Nova, 200 for 3, same thing as the basic, but it does do damage. And its ability, Starbirth, remember, only 1 V-Star power a game. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for up to 2 cards, any 2 cards, and put them in your hand. So, this is going to be your catalyst, obviously, as you have to start with it. Some games you might just be an Arceus deck, how it is, but it does work really well with Mewtwo. And after I explain the Mewtwo, we go along the deck list. I will explain some of the cool ways that I found and other ways you can get Mewtwo into play really easily, despite only having these Pokemon in your deck. But let's take a look at that Mewtwo V-Union. So, we got Mewtwo's hand, which does Union gain. Attach up to Psychic Energy from this Pokemon, as all Union Pokemon do. Mewtwo's head, heal 200, as we saw from the Mewtwo stall deck, can be really effective. Mewtwo's leg, 16 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon any way you like, which is really cool against like Sobbles or 1-price decks to get 2 knockouts to get you back in the league. Very effective attack that I really love. And then Mewtwo's tail has an ability to prevent all effects from your opponent's Pokemon's attack done to this Pokemon. So that would be paralyzing, any special conditions, and damage counters. And then it does 300 for 4 energies. Now I will say, the only way to play a V-Union is you have to have all 4 pieces in your discard pile. Wild Mechanic, they tried to seem to have dropped it after printing more Pico. They really aren't popular, obviously, except for Mewtwo at Nationals and everything. So they made it really hard. Luckily, when Ultra Ball got printed, it did make it slightly easier. But they've not seemed to caught on, as they do give up 3 prizes. And as we move more towards a V-Star central meta, with like some exceptions like Urshifu and Mew, these might be falling out of favor faster than maybe the company anticipated. But let us jump in to see what the trainers are. We got 1 Canceling Cologne until the end of your turn. Your opponent's active has abilities that is good against such as Decidueye, Miltank. You face one of those Ambipom decks. Pretty good to get around that and shut them off. But I will note that Mewtwo's leg does get around it by putting 16 damage counters, and most of those say only attacks, damage from attacks. So you can Size Explosion and get around it. Just remember that. We got the 1 Hyper Potion, heal 120, and discard 2 energy. So you can discard a double turbo, which we do play, or if you're doing the Mewtwo stall part to get back in the game, you could do that as well, and then attach the energy back with Union Gain. We got the Ordinary Rod, because you're actually going to use them more to put your basic energy back, as sometimes you have to discard them real fast, I noticed, so I only end up with like 1 or 2 in the deck, but you really need them to attack with Mewtwo. Then we got the Palpatine to shelf your supporters back. We got 3 Quick Bulk. You only have 4 basics, so you don't go the full 4, but also, like, after the first one, you're really just going to use them to discard Mewtwo pieces to get them in your discard pile. We have a Scoop Up Net. You can't use it, so I'm not sure why it's in the deck. Maybe there was an error in something. Maybe they thought it did differently. You can pick up V-Unions. I'm not sure how that works, but it literally does nothing in this deck. So we're going to move on from that one. One Suspicious Food Tin Heal Lady from one of your Pokemon that has at least one Psychic and discard it. So again, a way to heal your Pokemon, get them to live. You do a Hyper Potion, Food Tin, heal 200. Get back in the game, attack your opponent. Is a little sus about your Suspicious Food Tin. We got the one switch just in case. Obviously, you want to get Mewtwo out, but you want Arceus to keep its energy, or vice versa. We got the 4 trekking shoes, pretty staple at this point in most decks. Look at the top card, you may put it in your hand. If you don't, discard it and draw a card. Common way to get your Mewtwo pieces in the discard pile. Then we got 4 Ultra Ball. You have to discard 2 cards to get a Pokemon. So some combos you could do with like Arceus to get Mewtwo. So let's say, I mean, you got 2 Mewtwo pieces in your hand. You can do like Ultra Ball for a Mewtwo piece and like use Arceus's V-Star to get Mewtwo piece Ultra Ball. So put the 4th piece in there, and then you might not get something with the Ultra Ball, but that's okay. It just lets you do some combos like that. It is kind of thought-provoking how you want to get Mewtwo in your discard pile sometimes, and it's not just as clear-cut as you think it is, and I did learn that while playing the deck, which is really sweet. Then for stadiums, we got 3 different stadiums. We got 1 Paths of the Peak. Really, if you're not facing a condition deck or something like that, you don't worry about Mewtwo's. And then after you use Arceus, pop in the Paths of the Peak and lock down their abilities. PokéStop, another card becoming super popular. Once during each player's turn, you may discard the top 3, put any items, so you could possibly discard those Mewtwo pieces. Then we got 1 Training Court, again like the Ordinary Rod, to give back the energy to attack with your Mewtwo. And now we go to the supporters. We've got interesting supporter choice, and I really like all of them. We got the 2 Adventures, Discovery, search your deck for up to 3 Pokemon V. That's all of them. And put them in your hand, so you can get 3 Mewtwo pieces if you got like that Ultra Ball, Quick Ball combo like I was talking about earlier to discard them. Then we got 2 Boss's Order, obviously, bring up those Pokemon. I got 1 Cheren's Care to pick up your Arceus if you have to. So if you got Mewtwo down, you're like, I don't really think it'd be just a Mewtwo. You pick up that Arceus, moving on with your Mewtwo, get the dub. We got Marnie for Disruption. Both players shuffle their hands, put it on the bottom. I draw 5. You only get to draw 4. Dang, that sucks, man. Then we got a Peonia, pretty much a staple in a V-Union deck. You pick 3 prizes up, put them in your hand, up to 3. And then for each one you take, you have to put a card back. So you got to be like, man, dang, I got some bad cards in my hand I don't need, but I got like a Mewtwo piece prize. Now the thing is, you don't know where it is. So you're going to have to, like, if you got 6 prizes, you're just like, well, I hope it's in these 3. That's why sometimes these decks do play 2 Peonia, but Pokédrummer, wait, you know what? I can just attack with Arceus if I have to. It is fine. And once you look at those 3, you'll know what those 3 are. So if it's in the other 3, you know to take those prizes first. Then we got Professor Burnett, which actually does come anytime you buy a V-Union product. I believe you get one of these. Search your deck for up to 2 cards and discard them. The worst version of Battle Compressor if you play Expanded, but it can get your Mewtwo pieces in there easier if you have no way to get them in your hand, and you like, I got 2, but I need to use Arceus' ability, it's a little hard, you can just burn it, pop them in there, put that Mewtwo on the field, get that cool animation, and win the game. Then we ran out with 4. Research, obviously get up draw power, and it discards those Mewtwo pieces. We're going to round out our trainers with 1 Big Charm and 2 Choice Belt. Then we got 4 Double Turbo, obviously. You need it for your Arceus, especially getting like turn 1. Trinity Charge can just put you so far ahead, especially if you can get a second basic out. You're like, well, we did it. And then the 8 Psychics, because you kind of need those to attack with Mewtwo. So, I did play a few games. I tried to get them recorded. My thing was being weird. That's why I haven't had gameplay mostly. I will say, the Scuba Net, I got nothing. So you could probably drop that one. But the deck actually did function really well. I think with 4 Ultra Ball and 2 Adventures Discovery, you definitely had enough ways to get going on your Mewtwo, and I won a couple games where I just was Arceus. Like, I was like, well, we're being Arceus this game, and like I played against a Darkrai. It was a really good game too, and I wish any free thing would have worked, where I had to go Arceus, and they had like a weird turn where I was like, do I put Mewtwo into play? Because if they don't they needed so much stuff to like kill my Mewtwo that I win the game next turn. So I did do that, and that was really cool. But sometimes you are just an Arceus deck. Obviously, you don't have the Dunsparce for fighting Pokemon, but that's okay because against fighting Pokemon, we just put a Mewtwo in play. Otherwise than that, everything felt really good. I did never use the Bumet, but that's because I got really lucky and just were like, wow, I got double Ultra Ball in my hand. Or Mewtwo pieces, so I just drew lucky. The Cologne did come in handy against a Miltank one time, so that was pretty sweet. Other than that, I like it. Like I said, they won 4-1-1. Their loss was to Lycanroc, which they're weak to, so I think what happened there was I just can't get over the weakness thing. Beating Ice Rider and twice along with the Lunar Rock deck was really cool. And I think that shows the potential that this does have because you don't need a lot of bench, so it's hard for them to one-hit knock you out, which I think is really sweet. With that being said, let me know what you think below. Drop a like. Hit that subscribe. We're almost at 200 followers. Super cool. Got to figure out something to do for that if we get there. I'm Josh Hatter. This is the T-Table. This was PokéDrummer's Deck. Go follow Gazerbeam on Twitch, and I will see you next time.